In China, a woman in Heilongjiang ordered gold online but ended up receiving a roll of toilet paper instead. During the Chinese New Year holiday, Miss Sheng from Harbin spent 65,000 yuan to purchase a 100-gram gold bar online. However, what she received left her in shock.
This store was actually a live stream shopping store. I bought a 100-gram gold bar and made the payment. They shipped it using ZTO Express. I was confused because this was something worth over 60,000 yuan, yet they used ZTO. I went up to the parcel locker to pick it up, and when I got it, I immediately noticed that the box seemed off, so I recorded the entire unboxing process. When I opened it, I found a roll of toilet paper inside.
Ms. Sheng told Chinese media that she placed an order for the gold bar from the online store Jinyu Liangyuan Jewelry Selection on Taobao. The seller shipped the package on February 7th, and she received it on February 12th. Chat records show that the customer service representative blamed the issue on the shipping department and said they needed to verify the situation. Ms. Sheng never expected her gold purchase to turn into such an ordeal. After repeatedly pressing the seller for answers, she was told that the store owner was overseas and unreachable, and that the company had not paid its employees for 3 months. In the end, customer service claimed that the gold bar had been forgotten during packaging, and that the roll of paper was a complimentary gift. After that, the seller stopped responding. According to reports, Ms. Sheng repeatedly contacted both the seller and the e-commerce platform. Although she was able to get her money back, no one compensated her for the financial loss caused by the rising gold prices. She filed a complaint with Taobao, which informed her that the store had irregularities and advised her to request a refund. As of February 18th, the Jinyu Liangyuan Jewelry Selection store had stopped selling products, and its registered phone number was no longer in service. Consumer fraud in online shopping remains a serious issue. While many people may take the risk when purchasing clothing or everyday items, buying expensive products like gold online carries a big risk. Sometimes, as in Ms. Sheng's case, people lower their guard when shopping through live streams, especially when well-known brands are involved. Sellers often exaggerate their claims, making it easy for buyers to let their guard down. When dishonest sellers take advantage of this and buyers fail to stay alert, cases like Ms. Sheng's continue to happen. Even for cautious shoppers, avoiding scams can be difficult given the sheer number of fraudulent schemes. Someone asked me if it's safe to buy baby products on Pinduoduo. Listen to my real experience first, then decide whether to buy or not. A few days ago, a follower told me that the yellow Heilongjiang formula I recommended seemed fake. So I decided to order Heilongjiang from 3 different sellers on Pinduoduo to check. Just from the packaging, I could tell all 3 were fake. I had solid evidence, so I contacted customer service and clearly stated that these 3 stores were selling counterfeit products. But despite multiple reports, those same fake formula sellers are still operating, and their combined sales have already reached thousands of orders. Many consumers struggle to protect their rights. Some are unable to seek justice, while others find it difficult to even recover their money. One well-known TikToker in China with millions of followers recently shared her own experience of being scammed while shopping online. Despite contacting both the platform and the seller, neither took responsibility, leaving them unsure how to resolve the dispute.
I never realized how hard it is for ordinary people to fight back after being scammed until it's happened to me. A few days ago, I bought a TV box for 998 yuan on a second-hand platform Goofish. The seller said it will be shipped from an overseas warehouse and might take a few days, which seemed reasonable, so I agreed. But when the automatic payment deadline approached, the order still hadn't been shipped. Right after the payment went through automatically, the seller finally provided a tracking number. When I received the package, I realized I had been scammed. The product was completely different from what I ordered. I tried contacting the seller, only to find that I had already been blocked. My first instinct was to file a complaint with the platform, but they kept on making excuses, saying they couldn't reach the seller and then closing the case without resolving it. When I complained again, they told me to provide an official stamped proof from the courier company. I called the courier, but they said they don't offer that kind of documentation. After searching online, I found that many other victims were told to do the same. The reality is that couriers don't provide such proof, meaning the platform deliberately makes things difficult for buyers unless the case affects their own interests.
According to the platform's transaction dispute policy, sellers are required to provide proof if a buyer claims that the received item does not match the purchased product. If the seller presents valid proof, the buyer must then provide further evidence to support their claim.
Since they couldn't contact the seller, the platform deliberately made things difficult for me, forcing me to provide proof. In the end, the case was just left unresolved. The platform lost nothing. The seller lost nothing. Only the buyer suffered a huge loss. Has anyone else experienced the same thing? What else can be done in this situation?
Some online users shared similar experiences. One user shared, "I was just scammed out of 880 yuan on Goofish. I feel so frustrated." Others suggested filing complaints with consumer protection agencies. One comment read, "Just file a complaint with the 12315 platform. I wouldn't even bother dealing with the seller." Another user advised taking a more aggressive approach if the platform refuses to help. Tell customer service you want access to the fraudster's details. At first, they won't provide them, but if you insist and pressure them, they might give you a link to submit a request. Once you fill it out, you may receive the scammer's contact information in a few days. Then bombard them with messages and calls. Most of the time, they'll refund you just to stop the harassment. But if the scammer refuses or is a repeated offender, there's a high chance the money is gone. Many online shoppers face frustrating situations like these. Not only do they lose money, but they also have to go to extreme lengths just to track down scammers, with no guarantee of getting their funds back. At the end of last year, a buyer reported purchasing counterfeit liquor from Taobao's billion yuan subsidy section. This happened despite the platform's claim that all items were 100% authentic and backed by a policy promising 10 times the compensation for fake products. The buyer even recorded an unboxing video as proof, but Taobao argued that there was no way to verify if the product was counterfeit. In the end, the buyer concluded that promotional claims like triple compensation for fakes should not be trusted.
我买到假货了。
I bought a counterfeit product on Taobao's billion yuan subsidy section, which is supposedly backed by the platform as 100% authentic. Just a couple of days ago, I was browsing my phone when I saw an item called Baifu 12 listed under the billion yuan subsidy. The price was a little over 300 yuan. My first reaction was to be skeptical, but since it was under the subsidy section, I decided to check its authenticity. I even asked customer service, and they assured me it was 100% real. You have to understand, 100% authentic is an absolute claim, and even advertising laws don't allow it, but their customer service told me that anyway. Since the platform backed it, and there was even a fake 1 compensate 10 policy, I thought maybe the store was trying to boost sales or attract traffic to get more people to place orders. It was also possible that something was going on behind the scenes with the store or the company. And with the platform providing some subsidies, the price for this bottle ended up being lower than expected. The buyer initially approached the purchase with caution, but decided to place an order to give it a try. However, after receiving the product, they were shocked to find that the so-called 100% authentic item was fake. Some might question how they could be certain, but the buyer explained that while they were not a professional authentication agency, they had experience drinking the genuine product. When they attempted to file a claim, customer service informed them that regardless of whether the bottle was real or fake, they would need to return it first before making a request for compensation. Since a refund link automatically popped up on the platform, they proceeded with the return. I just called them today, and they completely denied it. They said they couldn't confirm whether it was fake or not. That really got me thinking. This is an official platform selling counterfeits, yet they refuse to take responsibility. I've already submitted all my photos and evidence proving the bottle was fake. I've reported it, uploaded everything, but they still won't acknowledge it. Instead, they told me to get a third-party authentication. But I already returned the bottle. How am I supposed to get it authenticated now? All I want to say is, first, everyone needs to be extra cautious. Even if a platform claims to be officially backed, guarantees 100% authentic, or offers a fake 1 compensate 10 policy, don't blindly trust it. The same goes for other platforms claiming fake 1 compensate 3. Just don't fall for it. Always judge based on the actual product and the real situation. Second, whether it's making counterfeit goods or selling them, it's illegal. Taobao, as a platform, you're openly violating the law through your billion yuan subsidy section. You're infringing on consumer rights while letting counterfeiters profit. And worse, this platform is actually helping to sell fake products. You have the authority to regulate sellers, but your approval process is failing. Your lack of oversight has directly caused losses for consumers. Cases like this can be extremely frustrating for consumers. Platforms advertising authentic products are openly misleading consumers. Scammers also use calculated tactics. In this case, the buyer was told to return the item before verifying its authenticity, which is a common strategy. Once the item is returned, the buyer no longer has physical evidence for authentication. Even an unboxing video might be dismissed as unreliable. Even if a buyer manages to obtain proof and authentication, raising a dispute on a major platform backed by powerful interests remains difficult. Concerns over collusion between businesses and authorities, as well as a lack of legal transparency, make it even harder for consumers to seek justice. A separate case involving Taobao has also drawn attention, with reports of fraudulent deliveries. Some users have received unsolicited packages, with one recipient simply discarding them upon arrival. A video showed a buyer opening a package only to find a promotional flyer labeled 菊花酸 Taobao Billion Yuan Subsidy Campaign, along with another advertisement for a super flash sale Women's Day shopping event. Other users shared similar experiences. One commented and said, "I've received 2 of these scam parcels from 菊花酸. I've already filed a complaint with the courier company." E-commerce fraud has been a long-standing issue, with numerous cases reported over the years. For many consumers in China, encountering scams has become a common part of daily life. Even Chinese authorities have acknowledged that counterfeit goods are widespread in online shopping. On July 22, 2015, during the 2015 Chinese Internet Users' Rights and Interests Protection Forum, the 12321 Unsolicited Electronic Messages Complaint and Reporting Center released a report stating that the most common form of online shopping fraud involved fake reviews and deceptive marketing, affecting 73% of buyers. In November of the same year, China's National People's Congress Standing Committee released a report stating that over 40% of products sold online in China were of substandard quality or counterfeit. Similar findings date back even further. In 2012, a report by the China E-commerce Association estimated that in the year leading up to June 2012, more than 60 million consumers lost a total of over 30 billion yuan due to online fraud. Experts noted that since 2010, such cases had increased significantly. Despite over 15 years of efforts, online shopping fraud remains rampant. Among China's major e-commerce platforms, Pinduoduo has been particularly notorious for counterfeit goods. In 2018, Pinduoduo went public in the United States, but immediately faced a crisis over counterfeit products. Within 5 days of its IPO, its market value dropped by $5 billion. The platform claimed to offer authentic product guarantees and promised to pay 10 times the value if a product was found to be fake. Yet it was flooded with knockoff goods. Several companies took legal action against Pinduoduo. Diaper manufacturer Daddy's Choice filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against the platform in a U.S. federal court in New York. On January 14, 2024, Chinese economist Ren Zeping raised 5 questions on Weibo, directly challenging Pinduoduo over the widespread presence of counterfeit goods on the platform. He accused Pinduoduo of crossing industry boundaries and engaging in unethical competition. He questioned whether allowing such practices was sustainable, stating that if some businesses could manipulate the system, fair competition would no longer be possible. He also warned that if more companies followed Pinduoduo's approach, it could lead to a decline in both ethical standards and economic development. Ren's concerns echo statements made by well-known Chinese economist Liang Xianping in 2015, who sparked widespread debate by declaring, "China will not prosper as long as Taobao exists." He argued that Taobao had stifled innovation across various industries, forcing all businesses into price wars. He warned that this environment, where counterfeit goods were already rampant, would further erode originality in the Chinese market. He cautioned that the vision of created in China could become increasingly difficult to achieve, with the country reducing itself to a low-value player in the global supply chain. The issue extends beyond price wars and is closely linked to a decline in ethical standards. At its core, this moral erosion is rooted in the destruction of traditional Chinese values. Before communist rule, China was known as a land of etiquette, with foreign delegations once paying tribute to its culture. Today, Taiwan and Japan have preserved elements of traditional Chinese etiquette, particularly the emphasis on integrity. Confucianism teaches the principles of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness. Confucius himself stated, "A person without integrity is unfit for society." However, modern China has seen a breakdown in basic trust among people. Deception has become common, and profit-driven motives often override honesty. E-commerce platforms, which should be built on a foundation of trust, have instead become places where some sellers exploit every loophole for financial gain. This problem has even extended beyond China's borders, with counterfeit Chinese smartphones making their way into Australia. Late last year, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported that counterfeit phones were being sold across the country. Sheng Connie, a senior lecturer in cybersecurity at the University of Melbourne, confirmed that imitation devices had flooded the market. In September 2024, single mother Courtney Smith spent $1,000 on Facebook Marketplace to purchase what she believed was a reasonably priced second-hand Samsung Galaxy phone. However, when she took the phone out of the box at home, she realized she had been scammed. The phone's screen quality, operating system, and camera functions resembled a model from a decade ago. After the seller blocked her, Smith spoke with other members of her community and discovered that 9 other people in her hometown of Albury had fallen victim to the same scam. She later had to spend an additional $700 to repair her old phone, leaving her with a total loss of nearly $2,000 from the incident. Brisbane police reported an increase in such scams in December 2023. Connie noted that organized crime networks were behind these fraudulent operations, selling imitation phones disguised as high-end models. He explained that scammers often place low-cost Chinese-made Android devices inside the casings of more expensive brands. These criminal groups manufacture the fake devices and distribute them through multiple channels until they reach unsuspecting consumers. Online shopping has become an essential part of daily life, but even outside of e-commerce, a lack of integrity means that counterfeit goods can still be found in physical stores. Nearly everyone in China has encountered such situations, highlighting that the issue ultimately comes down to morality and trust. Many believe that as long as the current system remains unchanged, ethical standards will not improve. Without a shift in values, cases of fraud will continue, and the situation is likely to worsen over time.